everybody and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. It's Leslie and today I am doing a layout for the JustNick Design Team, and our project for this week is to take one of her files, any one we choose or anyone we'd like to do. So I went and got this cut file. It's a new cut file from her. It's one of her newer ones. It is called Floral Swag 4. So yeah, it's a really beautiful cut file. You see I've got two different sizes here. I think this is the original size and I made this one a bit bigger, the bigger one. So I thought of using that, and then this week in the mail I got my happy mail. So I know I'm a bit late to the Auburn Lane hysteria, but yeah, I got myself some Auburn Lane from Paper Issues. I'll leave a link down below for my coupon code for Paper Issues as well, if you want to get some products, scrapbooking products. It's a scrapbooking store. So what I already did is I did a lot of work before I started recording now. Now this is the vellum piece and I did some fussy cutting from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this big piece, but I really like the gold effect. And yeah, so what I also did, sorry, let me just find this paper. I did some fussy cutting from the sheet as well, and you'll see here that I fussy cut out quite a bit. Now these are very tricky little bits to fussy cut. They're very small, but I was in the mood to fussy cut. So you'll see that in some bits I did leave a bit of the black outline, or a sort of a black outline around the colored bits. I like the dark contrast to the black, to the colors. And this is the photo that I'm going to be using, and you can see why I chose this collection to go with this photo. There's black, there's a lot of pink tones with, well, the flesh tones has a pink undertone to it, so it's got a bit of a pink to it, and the brown from the door, the black in the door frame, and then the yellow in Lucy's little shirt that she's got on. And I thought that these colors would go really well with what's happening in the photo. As you can see, it really complements each other. There's no green in the photo, but the rest of the colors go really well. All those flesh tones and the yellow and sort of the mustard color, the sort of yellow ochre colors in the door as well, comes out really nice. So yeah, so this is the photo that I'm going to be using. It's of my husband and my daughter, and I decided that I am going to be doing some stitching on this layout as well. I just got my We Are Memory Keepers little sewing machine, so I'm very excited. It's the first time I'm going to be using that. So I thought I was going to put my layout on the white, a white piece of cardstock. Now this is just plain textured American white cardstock, and I wanted to frame the layout with this pink sort of ledger type paper. It's got this black and white floral on the back. I don't know if I'm going to use that, so I am thinking I'd rather stick to the side. And I'm going to be making quite a big border, or quite a thick border around the white cardstock, and I'm going to be doing some stitching. So you're going to see me doing some stitching. So this is it. I'm not sure how this layout's going to turn out. I hope it's pretty, and it's about the process, hey, enjoying what you're making. I'm very happy to get started on this collection. As I said, that I am a bit late in getting with the program, but yeah. So you'll see here that I am chopping off first 1 inch on each side, and then I realize I want the border around the paper to be bigger, so I chop off another 1/2 inch. So it's basically 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches that the white paper is going to be. So, and here is my new little machine. It took me a while to get going. I kept on breaking the thread. But then as soon as I got the hang of it, it's really easy, and it's a lot easier than my other sewing machine, my regular sewing machine that kept on falling apart as I was using it. On the corner, you'll see there that I just tuft up some thread, sorry, and I'm making like a little thread nest on the side there with the black and the maroon thread. And I like the way the corners turned out. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong and it's not supposed to be doing that, but I like it. So I just wanted to show you how that turned out. I really liked using that sewing machine. You can feel that it's, you know, supposed to be stitching through paper. It was made to do, you know, crafty things with paper and things like that. So I really, you know, it feels very sturdy, and I love that little spacer bit on the inside of the needle that you can sort of measure and keep your stitching straight. So anyway, you'll see here that I've started layering and adding my embellishments to my page, and I've added one big flower embellishment that I cut out with my silhouette, and that is the Floral Swag number 4. And I cut out some other bits of the other cut files that I cut. I cut 3 of them out, I think. So I just cut off the little sprigs from the other ones, and I cut off the little flowers as well, and I just placed them loosely behind and below or beneath the cut file cluster. So I am going to be layering some embellishments behind my photo, and I'm going through the ephemera pack there to see what I want going there, and you can see that I haven't used any of this. It's all brand new. So I love to that little flag or that little tag that said beautiful. It's just below the photo there. You can't really make out what it says from here, but you know, when you see the layout face to face or in person, you can see that it says beautiful. And just to make it stand out a little bit more, I'm just going to be putting that black and white arrow behind it, and I am going to be sticking everything down now, and I fussy cut those flowers out from one of the patterned papers. So you see there I am just very loosely, just with one little glue dab, I'm sticking those little flowers together so that I have one big embellishment piece to move around, and I don't have all these little bits faffing about. So I decided that I'm going to be adding some tracing paper behind my photo, and I've said this in a previous video, but I love vellum and I love tissue paper, but vellum is a bit expensive and tissue paper is a bit flimsy, and I really run out of tissue paper very quickly because I use it very liberally. So another cheap alternative to vellum is tracing paper, and it's exactly the same. I don't know why vellum is so expensive, but anyway, there's probably some chemical, something in there that I don't know about that makes it expensive. But okay, so I'm going to be sticking down everything now, and that piece of vellum I've got on the side there that I'm sticking underneath the floral cluster now is from the vellum sheet, and it's one of the pieces that's on the side of the vellum sheet, and I wanted it for the little sprigs and the little leaves that just pop out, and I just thought of placing it there just so that it peeps out behind the floral cluster, and you can see that there's something going on there, and you know, it's not overpowering the gold. I am going to be putting a little thread nest behind the left hand side of the floral cluster, embellishment cluster. I felt that those little white sprigs weren't visible enough straight off the white paper that it stuck to, so I just added some maroon thread, and I am going to be gluing in those little sprigs now, just to frame the photo with that. And you see here that I'm going to cut that other little cut file apart, that I cut that extra one, and I'm just placing those little flowers you know, haphazardly around. Where I found a spot, I just stuck it down, and I really like it. It adds a lot of dimension and it adds texture, and I know it's white on white, but you know, it adds texture and interest. So I wanted to put some more thread, but at that stage, I think my thread nest was a bit big. So I'm going to come in later and with a bit of a smaller thread nest. So I stapled that tag to the little flag just so that it stands out a bit more. And I'm going to pop that up on some foam dots or foam squares and stick it there below my photo. And I stapled it together with a plain old stapler of mine with We Are Memory Keepers staples, and they are rose gold staples, and I really love them. So I really wanted to use this bunny, and I have a thing for bunnies, and I love bunnies. So when I saw that there was a bunny in this collection, I was very happy. So I really wanted to use the bunny, and I thought I'd just stick it up there. And I know for a bunny to be sitting on a bush of flowers or something like that, it's not really. But, you know, it's creative and I like it. And, you know, it's a cute little bunny rabbit. So, yes, so I do a little heart cluster on the top right-hand corner of the photo just to balance out that massive weighted floral cluster there, the big one at the bottom. And I'm going to go in with my rub-ons. And this is the first collection I actually purchased the rub-ons, and I love them. They are so easy to use, and they just whoop, and there you go. They smudge right on. And so there's this little bee as well, and I really liked it, so I thought I'd just put it over there. And I wanted to have some more hearts, and luckily there were some rub-on hearts, so I'm going to be placing them over there so that the hearts sort of, you know, draw your eye from the top right-hand corner down to the bottom left-hand corner of the layout, and it sort of echoes. And because the hearts on the bottom left-hand corner are smaller than the hearts on the top right-hand corner, you sort of, you know, it looks like they're sort of fading away to the bottom left-hand corner, if you know what I mean. So I felt that I had to put in some more of that vellum sheet, that vellum with the beautiful flowers on it. And I am going to be cutting that little thread just a little bit smaller so that the, you know, thread nest I pop in underneath there just a little bit smaller, just so that there's something behind that white, those white sprigs to make them stand out a little bit more. I also have the puffy stickers, and I really liked that little saying. That little puffy sticker says, "It is bliss." And I thought of putting it there, and I really like the way your eye sort of goes from the big mustardy colored flower, and then it pulls to that puffy sticker immediately because it's the same color, so your eye is drawn to that side of the page, and I really like that as well. So I've got the little thickers. I'm really happy that this time I, you know, pulled up my socks and I got the thickers. Last time I missed out on them. So my title's going to be You and Me. Very original. So, and here you'll see I'm just going to be fussy cutting out some of that. You know, it's also sort of a side bit that runs off the vellum page, and I wanted to put it at the top there, but putting it like that, sort of, it looks like little bunny ears sticking out. So I'm cutting off the little leaves, and I'm going to be placing the leaves by the hearts. See, I'm thinking, no, this looks like bunny ears. It shouldn't. I don't want it to look like bunny ears. So I'm just putting the little leaves at the top where the hearts are. And then the rest of that little flower, I'm just going to be sticking to the right-hand side. Tuck it in behind my photo. I wanted to use that tab, but no, not going to make it. So that is it for this layout. If you are interested in any of the cut files, please pop over to the JustNick shop and peruse their beautiful items. Okay, bye.